So, I don't know how many of you guys follow tennis. I don't really follow it, but I know a lot of the names and I catch the highlights here and there. But I had the opportunity today to make a sports related video on this channel and I could not pass that up because that's pretty rare. So, I'm sure most of you know who Serena Williams is. I think she's pretty much considered the greatest female tennis player of all time. Keyword being female. And that's kind of where the controversy has started recently because all the feminists, or maybe just all females in general, who probably don't know much about sports, are very triggered over some comments from John McEnroe, who is one of the greatest men's tennis players ever. So it's someone who knows what they're talking about when it comes to tennis. But basically, he said that Serena, while being the best female tennis player ever, would probably be ranked around 700 if she was playing against men. Now, I'm gonna just play this brief clip to explain the situation a little bit better, and then we can discuss it.
Why was it necessary for you to say that anybody, Serena, couldn't beat the 700th player on the men's circuit?
As you know well enough, Charlie, respect Serena very much so, okay? And I was simply calling her on an NPR, which supposedly you're supposed, this is where you can say it like it is and you're going to get honest feedback. She's the greatest female player that ever lived. Then the lady said to me, I don't remember which one, but she said, why did you say woman? Why don't you just say the greatest, tennis player that ever lived? And so then I felt the need, however, unfortunately, I'm probably to defend myself. I don't know, just say what I really felt. I mean, which is about what I think she would be. I think you're referring to the fact that I said she'd be about 700 in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
I've got a solution, Gail, though, because I know that you're friendly with Serena, and I think at least until yesterday,
I'm clutching the table right now.
I'm just waiting.
can't
Would you
wait.
like to apologize?
No. But
I'm waiting for the offer.
the offer is this, is because it seems in tennis, unlike other sports, that they're always asking about how women, they always ask me how I would do for someone. Why isn't this old bag John McEnroe, how would he do against Serena? Why don't you combine, just solve the problem? I'm sure the men would be all for this. The men and women play together. And then we don't have to guess.
That one bitch really came at him. I'm just sitting here waiting for your apology, so would you like to apologize now? Dude was just like, hell no. Just stunned her real quick, hit her with a double stun. She had no tact mass. She was not ready for that one. But let's go ahead and get into this. I'm gonna give you my very simple opinion, and I think most reasonable people share this opinion with me. And then I'm gonna give you guys some evidence to actually back up exactly what I'm saying, which really just ends this whole debate right away. So I don't even understand why this was an issue. But basically, if we're all being honest with ourselves, there's nothing really inaccurate or wrong about what he said. He wasn't being rude or anything. There is a huge gap between men's and women's sports. Every sport, it doesn't matter which. There's a reason why every single sport in the world is separated by gender. If women were able to compete against men, then there would be no reason to separate them, correct? But obviously they cannot, so we have to separate them. I don't understand why that's mean or an issue or anything really when it's just the truth. So I personally just don't see too much of an issue with his comments, but let me just read you this paragraph right here, and it really just puts all of this into perspective. Another event dubbed a Battle of the Sexes took place during the 1998 Australian Open between Karsten Braasch and the Williams sisters. Venus and Serena Williams had claimed that they could beat any male player ranked outside the world's top 200. So Braasch, then ranked 203rd, challenged them both. Braasch was described by one journalist as a man whose training regime centered around a pack of cigarettes and more than a couple bottles of ice-cold lager. The matches took place on court number 12 in Melbourne Park after Braasch had finished a round of golf and 2 beers. He first took on Serena, and after leading 5-0, beat her 6-1. Venus then walked on the court, and again, Braasch was was victorious, this time winning 6-2. Brosh said afterwards, 500 and above, no chance. He added that he played like someone ranked 600th in order to keep the game fun. Brosh said the big difference was that men can chase down shots much easier and that men put spin on the ball that the women can't handle. The Williams sisters adjusted their claim to beating men outside the top 350. Okay, so today, we learned that the 203rd ranked men's tennis player has already beaten Serena Williams, and to make it worse, apparently it wasn't even a challenge and he wasn't even trying at all. So what we can take from that is that Serena is definitely not in the top 200. So I don't really get the outrage for saying that she's 700 when it's already been factually proven that she can't even compete against the 200th ranked man. I guess it's because 700 sounds bad. Maybe it should be a little bit higher than that. But honestly, I don't know if it should. It actually seems pretty accurate because the guy who beat her said that she has no chance of beating anyone in the top 500. And then she herself downgraded her own claim and said she can't beat anyone in the top 350. So honestly, the entire argument seems pretty stupid. Who cares if you are the 350th best or the 700th best? Either way, that's not fucking good. I don't know who the 300th best player in the NBA would be. There's only like 450 players, I think. So the 300th best player in the NBA is like some random 13th man off the bench who only gets put into the game if it's a blowout. Basically, probably like a James Jones. No disrespect to James Jones. That man has made the finals 7 years in a row. I'm just saying, like, why even argue about the difference between 500 to 700? Like, does it make you feel better to say you're in the top 500 instead of the top 700? Like, either way, that's not a good ranking. But if you actually break it down logically, I don't really know how much the skill difference changes from 200 to 700, but if she can't even come close to the 200th player, then she probably could maybe compete a little bit with the 300th and, maybe definitely compete with the 400th, but I'm saying compete. She would actually maybe have a little bit of a chance, but she still probably wouldn't beat the 300th or 400th player either. So then we get to like 500 and 600. Then I think that's where the level where maybe she would be able to beat some of the dudes. And even then, I bet if they played like 5 games, she would probably win only 1 or 2 of the games. I think the dude would probably still win the overall series, although I don't think they do tennis like that. But I don't know, it just seems like a pretty reasonable conclusion to say that she'd be ranked around 700. I mean, I guess the feminists are really fighting for the extra 200 spots, alright? So if it really makes you feel better, she's the 500th best, alright? I didn't mean to disrespect. Give her proper respect. 500th, alright? That's much better. I don't fucking get it, man. But let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let me just say, men and women cannot be compared when it comes to sports. This whole story got blown out of proportion. If this story would have happened like 5 to 10 years ago, everybody would have seen it and been like, yeah, sounds about right, and moved on with their day. Nowadays, you aren't even allowed to speak the truth. Everyone has to be considered equal, even if they really aren't. But I think the most hilarious part of it is, even though you saw all those females and even that dude sitting there in the interview with the guy getting upset at him for saying this, if we actually were to combine male and female sports, I bet you that all the females who pretend to be upset about these type of comments would be fucking pissed. They would not be happy. They don't want to do that. They wouldn't even make the team. There would be no more female athletes. Can you imagine any WNBA players trying to guard LeBron James? That's not happening, dude. Like, there's just no way. I'm not sure I can think of a single sport where females are better than men. I think maybe gymnastics could be the only one, and even then, I'm not even sure about that either. I don't know too much about gymnastics, but maybe there's like 1 or 2 sports out of the 200 plus sports there are in the world. I don't know how many different sports there are, but there's like 1 or 2 where females could possibly be better, and even then, we're not sure. And certainly none of the major sports, basketball, football, soccer, baseball, hockey, MMA, all of the main sports, it's not even a debate. debate. This is not a discussion. And I think the craziest thing is Serena is actually a beast for a woman. She's 5'9", 155, which is pretty big for a girl, and she has a lot of muscle on her. So you would think if any girl was able to compete with men, it would be someone like her who is closer physically to men than most women, and yet she's still getting destroyed. So just imagine all the normal sized women's tennis players. They would probably lose to me, and I never even played tennis. Like, let me just get coached up on some tennis for like 2 weeks and let me play the 100th ranked female. I might win. I mean, I might be exaggerating on that one, but at the same time, I might not be. Like, it really could be true. You don't even know. So I don't know, man. This shouldn't even be an issue or a story or anything. It's sad that society nowadays has to try to protect everyone's feelings, alright? It's okay to tell people the truth. But anyways, thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to like, rating if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already. Follow me on Twitter. Links in the description down below. Other than that, have a good day and peace out.